Welcome to The Grateful Artist. I'm your host, Stephanie Paige, and I'm so excited to be here. I just love this podcast. I love this community we're building, and I love the energy that we're creating. So I'm grateful for you chiming in and connecting with us. And today we have a beautiful person that we get to interview, Joshua Smith. He is a amazing fine artist, and he's nationally renowned. He is internationally renowned, actually. He sells his artwork all over the world, and he's incredible. He's an incredible person, but his work, the surrealism, uh, you have to see his work. It's incredible. And ever since I saw his work, I actually saw his work before I met him, and it just invokes a lot of emotions in myself. And I think that's kind of what he wanted. He's going to share his story of how he became an artist and what he's gone through and his insights, and it's just really powerful. So I'm glad that you're tuning in today because this is really special. Joshua Smith. Hey, Joshua, thank you so much for showing up on our podcast today. Thank you.
Hi, Stephanie. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
We're so grateful for your time, that's for sure. Well, I'm super excited about sharing your story because there's so much to, I mean, we probably could do about 10 podcasts about you, your life story, your work, just your work alone is so interesting. But
Thank
I
you.
guess what we want to start with is kind of your childhood. Like, can you tell us about your childhood and how you first discovered art?
Hmm. Well, my parents were interior designers. So, when I was little, I was the only child,
Right?
and just they were both busy taking me on, appointments, and I was always seeing, furniture, art, architecture, all that
Oh, right.
stuff was just kind of part of my life. And, it wasn't something that I was particularly interested in. It was just one of those influences that you can't escape. And so as a kid, I was really into sports, and I, dreamed of being a basketball player.
Really? Cool.
And that was really where my focus was when I was growing up. When I was, little, you draw and you paint like all kids do. It wasn't anything exceptional. I like to do it, but I, wanted to grab the basketball and shoot outside.
Yeah.
So that was really what drove me. But when I think where things started to change was when I was a young adult or late teens.
Okay.
I started to work for my parents more often. I was always throughout my childhood working for them, but this time I was strong enough to be delivering all the furniture, and so I was, seeing the art that would go back and forth and looking at things and being, inspired by, oh wow, look at that painting, or
Right.
this is really cool. So it was just constantly seeing that and really loving that. But I was into sports, and
Okay.
I was studying sports medicine. I wanted to work with athletes, and I was a
Oh, yeah.
trainer and all that stuff. So it was like, I had a creative side that was interesting to me, and then this physical side. So it was balanced between, these different aspects of my life. But I didn't think I could do anything with that. It just kind of, I didn't want to be an interior designer.
Okay. Yeah.
So I really didn't know, like, I didn't think career-wise there was anything really until I was taking an elective class in art history,
Oh, wow.
and it was, required thing that I had to do, and I saw the sculptures by Michelangelo,
Oh, yeah.
and I was just, it was a, Renaissance and Baroque period that I was really interested in, the figurative stuff. And
Right.
I just thought, I imagined, like, just visualizing like what would have been like to be Michelangelo, to be
Oh, my
commissioned
gosh.
to do sculptures and marble. And I just dreamed about that. Like
Wow.
that would be the
Okay.
best job ever. Like I imagined doing that. And so it was kind of imprinted in my mind, like if I could do anything, I would do that. I was really focused on, okay, what I need to finish college and do all that, and focus on sports medicine. But I got burnt out. I was really motivated to try to finish school, so I was taking classes on the weekend. I just burned myself out, and I I think I was in organic chemistry, and I just hit a wall, and I said, I need a break. And so I finished that class, and then stopped going to school. And at the time, I was applying for a job at Southwest Airlines, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to change careers from, doing, something sports medicine and maybe like just trying something new with airlines. And it turned out that they were just kind of giving me the runaround for a while,
Okay.
and I didn't get the job right away. So I had, been emotional about not wanting to do the sports medicine stuff. So I quit my job as a trainer,
Oh, wow.
and I didn't have a job.
Okay.
So I think I was 20, maybe about 20 at this time. I was, I need to pay my bills, pay for the apartment and
Yeah,
whatnot.
right.
So I went and I asked my dad, hey, can I deliver furniture again? And he said, we don't really need anybody, but you know what? We can have you in here $7 an hour. And this 1994 maybe or something
Okay,
like that.
gotcha.
And so I was just like, $7 an hour. Well, let me just do this until I get another job. And so I started doing that, delivering the furniture, and a lot of furniture came back damaged.
Oh, okay.
And so there was a guy that repaired furniture. He would, repair the chairs and, just change the finishes and repair scratches. And there was a guy, he just got backed
Yeah,
up. And so they said, hey, can you come in? You're pretty good with art. Can you come in and help out with that? And I'll show you what to do.
right.
And so he showed me how to fill holes with wood, and just working on finishes and things like that. So I started doing that, like, not as a full-time job, but a part-time thing on top of delivering the
Okay.
furniture.
Right.
And it was just, I just realized I could match color really well. I was pretty good at it. So I had, a lot of broken chairs,
Right.
that would come back, and sometimes I'd take them home and like work on them and let them sit and dry overnight. So, and then bring them back the next day. So I was taking work home. I was just seeing the broken chairs around. So that's kind of where the broken chairs come in with the paintings. But so I was doing that, and there was a painting that had a scratch all the way through it. And my dad said, hey, do you think you can touch up like the color on this all the way through so it
Oh,
matches?
wow.
And I said,
Okay. Yeah.
I'll try. So I got the paint out and worked on that, and then it was really hard to tell. You couldn't see the scratch anymore. And he
That's
said,
amazing.
yeah, the client loves it. They bought it, and he said, I have an idea. Can you try a landscape? Can you do a landscape like just from your imagination? And I said, I can try. He said, I think I could sell what you do. So I started doing that.
Really? Wow.
And
Okay.
so I was doing a lot of just abstract landscapes, and they were selling. That I wasn't getting paid any more than $7 an hour, but I
Oh, really?
realized, I thought I could do this. Like
Right.
I could do this, I could do it as a job. So that was kind of where the
Oh,
first feeling of like that I can do this. I felt empowered.
oh, that's
So I
great.
I decided to go to art school. So I was working for my dad, and then I said, hey, I'm going to go back to school for art. And my parents were very supportive,
Oh, that's great.
and they said, hey, do something. So
Yeah. Right.
so I just went back to school, and I felt that for the first time I understood what I was meant to do.
Just like that. Like
Just
it's,
like that.
yeah, your whole
I
life
got
ahead of you.
right.
Yeah.
I felt like as if all the stuff I had been doing, I was just trying to do it because I knew that it's something I was supposed to do.
Yeah. Right. It makes money, right?
And
It's practical.
right,
Yeah.
right. And being interested in sports, it just made sense to do something in that field.
Right.
And then I switched, and I went to school, and I just felt like a kid in a candy store. Like, I mean, I get to do this. I get to
That's incredible.
like go to class and like paint.
Oh my gosh.
And I
Wow.
get to read books about art and
Right.
take history. I mean, I just felt, because going from organic chemistry to that felt like night and day,
Yeah, no
you know?
kidding.
And so
The
it
other
was,
side of the brain being tapped into. Yeah.
right. It was such a gift and such a joy. that I never felt like it was school. I mean, there were times I had to study for different things that were, you know, exams and do papers and things like that. But it just felt like this is what I'm meant to do. And you know, the flow from going to school to, you know, doing art shows, and after, you know, graduating and all that, it just went like real smooth because, you know, I just, you know, you feel that joy, you feel the passion, you work hard at, you know, just trying to, you know, improve your craft. And it was it was a beautiful beginning, and it's been beautiful ever since.
Oh, that's great. So then, ever since, I mean, you left out a lot of good stuff.
We'll talk about that for sure.
Yeah, let's talk about that next. I mean, so you get out of college, and I mean, when do you start creating Joshua Smith paintings? You know, like when do you find your, you know, the connection between you and your what's meant to come from you?
Yeah, that's a great question. When I started school,
Yeah,
I was doing the classical stuff. I focused on portraits,
right.
figures, and I really wanted to learn that. You know, the Michelangelo influence. I felt like if I can learn how to paint the figure and paint the face in particular, then I could do anything. And that was really what I focused on. So portraits was my focus,
Okay,
and I didn't think that, you know, I'll do that forever.
right.
I just thought this will be a way of
Okay,
studying light, studying form. And there was some wisdom in there as a young person that I realized that, you know, you saw Picasso and I saw
right.
his early work and I saw that he started out that way, and that it
Oh,
makes sense to just change over time and start with like the human form.
oh, that makes sense.
And so you know, that's as time went by, I got I'd say looser in a sense that I started to depart from sort of representational or realistic things.
Okay,
And
yeah.
it was gradual. And a key point was, I think it was around 2006,
Okay,
2007, and I was doing a landscape, and I had stuck it. It was a very like horizontal, long, skinny landscape.
okay.
I stuck it on the wall, but I stuck it vertical.
Oh,
And I was just,
wow.
I was just looking at it just because I was kind of tired, and I was kind of fading in and out of sleep.
Right.
And I was just sitting back in my chair, and I took, you know, 5 minutes to meditate. And as I was doing that, I saw a treehouse
Oh, wow.
in my mind, and it was like in the shape of this landscape, but it was vertical. And I just said, I'm gonna paint that. I'm gonna like paint over what I'm gonna paint this from my imagination. And it was really the first time I had done that. I was, you know, not used to doing something like that. So I just started, you know, just trying to remember what I saw and kind of, you know, using that as a guideline to create this like this treehouse way up in the sky.
Oh,
And so that was a diversion from what I was painting because I was teaching at the Hartford Art School
oh,
in
right.
Connecticut,
Okay.
and I was teaching, you know, landscape painting. I was teaching portraiture and all that, and I was in the faculty, and I was showing my new work, my treehouse work, and it didn't really fit with their aesthetic in their school. They were like
Oh,
very either
traditionalist or?
realistic, yeah,
Oh,
traditional.
right.
There wasn't really a surreal component in that school. And they kind of said, wait, you know, what are you doing over there with all this
Yeah,
surreal stuff?
right.
And I said, this is what I'm doing. They said, well, this is a diversion. This is whatnot. So I kind of like, you know, got some criticism from that.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And but I felt strongly that like, oh, I'm not gonna, you know, paint what you want me to paint.
Right.
So
Oh, that's great.
I took my work to New York
Okay.
and displayed it at the New York Art Expo,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and sold out.
Oh my gosh.
it
That's
was it was a
incredible.
it was a great show. I had yeah, I had galleries that were there. I had collectors, and I was not really expecting something like that. I was just like, I'm gonna give it a
Right.
try and see what happens.
Wow.
So
Okay.
that really gave me some validation that this is what I should be doing. I should be painting from my imagination.
Oh, that's amazing.
And it kind of goes back to actually when I was even, I'd say probably 16 or 17, I would
Okay.
had really vivid dreams.
Oh, okay. I can see
And
that.
so I was always dreaming these really vivid dreams, and it just never stopped. And so I thought, as I was learning to paint, like if I ever can learn how to paint, then I will paint my dreams.
Oh, I love that. And I can see that.
So
Yeah, that's
it
what it
was,
feels like.
so that I'm kind of using the metaphors of it. It's not literal, but I'm using a lot of sort of, so these elements, these motifs that I see in the dream, and then carrying them over into the painting.
Oh,
Um,
well, your technique too is incredible. I mean, it's not your straight, I'm gonna paint with oil brush and that's it. You just have so much, that's going on, and it's so obviously surreal, but just dreamlike. That's what you're creating, this dream atmosphere, just with these layers of glaze. And I mean, you can describe it more about your technique, but I'm sure everyone would love to hear about it. It's amazing to me.
yeah,
I stare at
thank
your
you. I
paintings, can't
appreciate it.
figure it out. I'm like, how does he do this?
Mm. Yeah, I mean, a lot of practice. Just when you love something, you just keep doing it, and you just build on it. But when I first started, of course, I was doing still lifes and things
Oh,
like that,
right.
and I just was painting mud basically. I didn't know how to make
Right.
oil paint look like that. And then, I had some teachers that were encouraging and said,
Oh,
hey,
good.
just let it dry and, keep working on it. And then I realized, oh, I see what you can do here.
Ah,
I
so
see.
experimenting and trying
Yeah.
trial and error kind of,
Yeah. I
see
mean,
what,
it's all an illusion. And if you're just patient with it, you just try things. And if they don't work, paint over it.
right. I love that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, did you have a studio at the time when you started? I mean, after the expo, I mean, did you have, were you creating all the time? I mean, were you just teaching and creating?
Yeah.
When
I
did you
was
make
at
the
that
leap
time.
completely to go into just, I'm the artist? And
Yeah. I was teaching part time and painting part time. At that time, I decided to stop teaching.
okay.
And so I was painting full time. I was having, more paintings and commissions and things like that that were coming up than I had time for because of teaching. So
Yeah.
I stopped doing that. And it was a tough decision because you have the, guaranteed check every month.
Yes.
And
Did you have
I
a
just
family
said,
at the time?
yeah, yeah,
So you
yeah.
did,
At
you
that
had,
time, two
okay,
kids
two kids. Yeah.
and married with two kids.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
it was, I was very confident because, it wasn't like I can go back to teaching if I need to.
Right.
But I realized something else too. I was young and I
Right.
realized I haven't really done anything yet to be teaching.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
I'm
Interesting. Okay.
I'm just going to teach you technique, but I can't really teach you experience.
Oh,
And
wow. Okay.
that's really the important part of art because it's self-discovery and getting you to, dig within yourself and find that instead of me just teaching you a technique.
That's true.
And
Yeah.
that was something that was a goal that I, am implementing now is just more of a coaching perspective.
Okay. Yes, I can see that.
Not so much, I do teach technique, but that's secondary to teaching more about internal activity and the way you think.
Yes, which
And
is
and
everything,
that's
right? Yeah.
right, absolutely. So that's what I thought, my perspective was, I learn a little bit more, see what the art world is like and see what you can do with your career and then come back and teach and do it whether it's coaching or teaching classes but
Right.
using your perspective on art rather than this is a class on drawing a
Yeah,
still
oil
life.
painting or yeah, you're right. I'm curious of how, your religion and the spirituality like tapped into your work. Like when did this start happening with your work? And obviously they're your dreams because I've been to a couple of your shows where you talk about your dreams and
Hmm.
these amazing paintings and it's incredible, but you also have this like spiritual connection to them.
Well, early on, I started with the dreams when I was young, and
Right.
I didn't grow up with any religion at
Okay.
all. Just kind of your normal, believe in God family.
Yeah.
As I got as I got older, I started having dreams about a lot of stuff with Jesus,
Okay.
and in particular, probably the one most memorable dream was I think I was about 16. I had a dream that I was walking into a dimly lit coliseum, and a crowd was cheering, and I could see there was someone being crucified
Oh my gosh.
in the center of the coliseum. And as I got closer, I realized it was me.
Oh wow. Okay.
And then I was on the cross looking out and seeing like the crowd, and then I woke up.
Oh gosh.
And I just, 16, you're like,
Yeah. How do you unpack
what have I
that?
been watching? Yeah. So,
Right.
uh, so it just stuck with me. I was thinking, well, I wonder why this is coming up. I'm, not like religious or anything.
Okay.
And it took a few years before, some more things started happening like that, some really vivid dreams and some life things that were strange occurrences that
Okay.
gave me, um, gave me a desire to read the Bible.
Okay.
So it was about 20, 21. Then I started reading the Bible, and that changed my perspective completely because I wasn't religious. I really didn't know anything other than believe in Jesus and you'll go to heaven.
Right.
But it totally, not being religious, I saw it from a different perspective,
Okay.
and I started to just love what he was saying.
Ah,
And then I thought, what amazing would be like just to like paint and then like have a spiritual perspective and let
yes.
me carry that through. And so as time went by, the religion side disappeared,
Okay.
but the spiritual aspect grew.
Right.
The core of what he was saying, and the less dogma,
Oh, I
and
gotcha.
the more internal, the within the internal perspective took over, and that's where it is now.
Oh,
Long
that's
story short.
beautiful. Yeah. Wow, that's amazing. Because you can feel that in your work. You can feel that spiritual connection that, it is ethereal in a way. And, there's a lot of magic with your work too. And emotion. I mean, is that where you're like, are you trying to, like, when you're creating, do you have a plan of what you want to invoke into the piece? Or do you just start painting and not sure what's going to happen?
Yeah, yeah. Most of the time, I just start with some shapes. When I'm clear in my head, I just will have a blank canvas and just make some shapes or make some brush strokes. Even on like this recent painting that I'm working on, I just took the trowel with some paint and I just started making marks, and
Yeah.
then the painting came from that.
Oh, cool.
And I had no idea what I was going to paint
Really?
until it started.
That
Yeah,
I
and I
can't wait
mean
to see that then.
that's a departure from
Yeah, it
the
is.
the original. Like, okay, there's a person in front of you. First, draw the person,
Yes.
capture the shadows, and you do all that. So, but I mean, you have to, in order to do that, it takes confidence to be able to paint the figure and then transfer that to something completely different and intuitive.
No, absolutely. I mean, you basically got all those magical tools and tricks of the trade and all these things that you learned technically, but then
Hmm.
you're putting in your freedom and you're letting go and you're kind of
Right.
you're not traditional following directions, which I absolutely love because that's kind of where a lot of I think your work stands out a lot more because it is not a streamlined this is this and this so I can tell exactly what he's doing. So your work is really impactful. And
Thank you.
I know people that collect your work and they just are obsessed with you. They love everything about it. And I think
Mm.
that uh, I mean, I obviously love your trees. I love everything that you do. I remember we were in a gallery once together. I can't remember what it was, but they wanted you just to get rid of the chairs and do landscape, and you're like, "Fuck you." Do you remember that? Like, oh, they would love
uh,
your work if you just got rid of everything that you're about. It's like,
yeah,
oh my
that
God.
happens. That happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, as soon as you do that, then those aren't selling. It's the things
Yeah.
that, it's just life is interesting that way. You think you understand what something is the formula of this or that, but really just being authentic and not giving up and following a trajectory of like what's important to you.
Right.
And to me, being authentic to um, what comes out, not
Yes.
like, okay, this is, unless there's a commission where someone says, we love your chairs, we want a chair. And,
Yeah.
most of the time it's, we want a chair, but, go for it.
Yeah.
Do,
That's great.
and
Gosh.
so I have the freedom to try stuff that's, and then, 99% of the time, it turns out like they're like, this is beyond what we even expected. And I'm so grateful to have that opportunity to do something, from imagination that people trust that I can
Right.
pull it off to fit in their home.
The pieces that you have and what you put in there, like you have the butterflies and birds and landscape and all those things. I mean, I just loved your mini butterflies that you painted or your teeny oak trees. I'm like,
Mm,
I just want one of these.
mm,
I mean,
uh,
but just you can paint on a 4x4 and it could be so powerful. The painting, like to me, it's like if I painted a 4x4, it would. I mean, I couldn't invoke that much, beauty and energy in such a small piece. But like everything you do is,
no,
to me, is
thanks.
beautiful. I admire you. I love where you're heading. I love your work. Anybody that sees your work, and we're actually going to put this on a YouTube, or we're going to be putting your work in as we speak.
Oh,
So this
great.
might be great for listeners to listen to and
Mm,
also see the art and what you've created and maybe videos and all that fun stuff. But
I appreciate it.
yeah, that's going to be fun. What do you think is your message that you want to give to viewers? Like what's your hope? Like you have your art in a gallery, someone comes up and just to look at your piece. What are you hoping they receive from you in your work?
I think that I really want people to look within themselves for meaning.
Oh yeah.
A lot of it, they'll ask me, what does the butterfly mean? Why the hummingbird? What's
Yeah.
the chair? You
Right.
know, and I have my interpretation,
Right.
and I'm still learning about why am I doing this? I'm not sure. Yeah, so I think it changes over time, and I grow and I learn about why, what did I see this in a dream? What is this? Is this reoccurring? Is this But I think for me, my desire is for people to look within themselves and find the meaning and
Right.
find what's important to them
Okay.
in their lives.
Right.
Because I think that's really what connects people with the art is their personal meaning within it. And I've had people ask me, "What's this about?" And I'll ask them, "Well, let me ask you first. What do you think it's about?"
Yeah.
And they will blow my mind with
Oh my gosh.
things that I'm like, whoa, that's amazing. Yeah, I like that idea. That's what it's about because it really
Oh,
is. It's up
interesting.
to the viewer to
Yeah.
when you interpret that, you inherently come up with meaning that's important to you. And that's the thing about painting. It's not meant to be replaced by words.
That's true. You're speaking
It's paint,
already. Yeah.
right? It's spoken with paint, and for me to say things, it happens all the time where I'll say something and like, oh, I didn't see that, and I'm like, oh, well, what did you see? So I think that's really, and I think more than anything that people not just have a meaning, but that it gives them a love for life even more. That they see that there's a balance with the light and dark. So there's dark shadows, and there's moments in your life
Mm,
where things are difficult,
right.
but that light emerges from that you're able to look at your life and see that there is hope. You can be inspired, you can start over, to love yourself.
Right.
and to persevere. We can change the world only by changing ourselves.
That's true.
And so if you feel inspired from that, that's ultimately I'm happy.
Oh, that's beautiful. So, how did you get so wise? Like, I mean, with your work, like, how did you ever struggle? Are you a perfectionist, or was it just easy for you to create when you were starting to create your paintings that are in galleries and things like that? I mean,
Oh, I mean, I have hundreds of paintings that just were never finished, and they
really?
were just just
Okay.
a train wreck. But that's part of the process. I think of I'm a big fan of rock,
Oh,
classic
yeah.
rock.
Right.
I love David Bowie. David
Okay.
Bowie's a great example because I think
I love
David
that.
Bowie did probably maybe a dozen, maybe 20 great songs,
Right.
but he had hundreds of terrible songs.
Really.
And
Oh, I
that,
love that.
that's how I see it compared to his, so I'm saying that, you have to try things, and he was someone who was trying things all the time
Right.
and experimenting, trying different creative techniques and just changing rhythms and all kinds of stuff. So I think that that's part of it, is not being afraid to try. That's how I
Yeah.
got to where I am, is trying things that are, antithetical to what you've learned, like things
Right.
that are counter of what
Yeah.
you've been taught.
So a true
Uh,
curiosity as an artist. So
right. I
was it
mean,
always
even
like that though I'm just wondering, like, when you encountered paintings that didn't work, you were just like, "Okay, I accept it," or was it a battle to get to where you're talking about of like acceptance, like everything is it just something learned over time? I mean, how did you get to, you know, um, not being able to create what you want to envision? I can imagine your dreams are being very detailed and you want to have it on a canvas and you can't reach it. Like, what happens with you to get there or to
I have
accept it?
so much to say about that.
Okay,
Yeah, I
good.
mean, we
That's
could
what
have
we're
a
here
whole
for.
nother podcast. Um,
Yeah.
well, I'll say the thing that I'll say about the well, one aspect about that is so much of how we create is how we feel inside.
Okay.
What we feel about ourselves, our mood, our feelings, our emotions. And if we're blocked, if we're struggling with life, with
Right.
with our feelings and things like that, creating is going to be hard.
Right.
And the things you create they could be authentically frustrated, angry, things like that, and that can make for good art expression too.
Right.
But to get at the core of who you are, clearing yourself is a big part of that.
Right.
And so I think a lot of my life is spent like working on myself,
Oh,
doing, work on me,
yes.
meditation, prayer, breath work, just, having a clear mind. So I'm not, you know, having negative thinking running through my mind all the time.
Yeah.
Thinking, being healthy in the way that I think and the way that I live.
Right.
And I think that gives almost a channel to whatever the universe is trying to create through
Oh,
me.
I can see that. You are now a
So
receiver of the information, yeah.
yeah,
Oh, I
I
love
don't
that.
I don't necessarily see a whole lot of like I'm not sitting there thinking today I'm going to create a tree house with a crooked
Right,
tree
right.
coming out of
Oh,
the right
right.
side. No, it just flows through me, and I don't think it's necessarily Joshua Smith that's coming up with this. It's something other.
Ah, I love that. Okay. That's the good stuff. Because I do feel like you've been given this gift, right? And especially you being connected with spirituality or religion or anything, you actually know that you have a gift. It was given to you. So what you do with it is, kind of the magic of the world, like what you do with this gift and the energy that you put into it and how you take care of yourself to be that vessel. That's,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think that like a big part is, I mean, I'm not really anything different than anybody else.
Right.
The thing that just happened is that I had the opportunity, I worked at it, and I cleared myself at the same time. Having that combination creates a clarity for that message to come through. And I
Yeah.
think that there's a lot of times that if we aren't clear, that block is going to be there and we can't create.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So is this your everyday? Do you do things like this, meditate and breath work and connect? And like, do you look at what stressed you out and try to figure it out? I mean, is that like a must for you?
N- No, it's not a must. It's something I do, but it's not something. It's not like every day I have this routine. I must
Okay.
do it.
It's not a
It's not
practice
religious or anything.
ritual,
No,
but it's just kind
no.
of,
I have good habits that I keep, but they're not religious like that. Where
yeah.
it's more like over time of doing this, it's changed my mind.
Okay.
It's
Right.
changed the way I think. It's
Mm,
created a healthy person. That's the thing that. So when I get to the easel, most days I'm clear
right.
and I can create, and I'm not like, there's days where just a couple of days ago I was bogged down by something stressful, and I had to clear it,
Okay.
and then realized that I went back to look at the thing that I painted that I hated, and I looked at it and went, actually, that's pretty good.
Oh,
I think I
wow.
was just in a bad mood.
Oh, so your perspective of it changed. Wow.
I think that's a big part is that you're blocked because of something it's just not seeing it, and then oh I see, okay, and then I got ideas because I was clear again. The ideas came through as having clarity. So
I
I think
love
that's
that.
it's a process. There's days where I like that, but most days, because over the years I've done the work, that most days are inspiring for creation.
You're basically a grateful artist, right? So you're on the right
Yes.
podcast. But that's what you
Yes.
remind me of. I mean, when I first met you, I don't know, 15 years ago, I mean, you remind me of someone that is authentically you and just speaking
Hmm.
from your heart like that to me is like, it was a rare thing to see. That's why I think you being genuine and you being who you are is a big part about what your work is and how powerful it is. And knowing you,
Thanks.
like when I saw your work, I think I saw your work before I met you. And I remember thinking, this artist must be really connected to his childhood at first. I was thinking, gosh.
Hmm.
And then, like, when you were talking about how, each artist gets their own interpretation. But yeah, that was mine. Is like, to me, that's when those moments that you were creating in my childhood was my safety, my escape into this beautiful
Hmm.
world that I created just so I can cope with my childhood. And so I got a lot of like beautiful feelings personally from your work, even though I was trying to interpret it without knowing you. But then once I knew
Right.
you,
Right.
I think that it changed completely. And it made it more so, just learning about your stories and how you create and why, which is
Hmm.
amazing.
I mean, I love my kids. They were born when I
Yeah.
was young,
Right.
and spending time with them, just being like, sometimes I still feel like I'm a grown-up kid.
Right. Good.
I just feel like I'm, so silly and just playful and
I love that.
joking all the time, and yeah, I just feel like, especially as I've gotten older, I've become more childlike.
Good.
Um,
Yes.
Trying not to take everything so seriously,
Right.
playing with the work. I've learned things spiritually that have taught me that like the goal is become like a child,
Yes. Yeah.
and which just reinforces like just don't sweat it. Like, do your thing, have good habits, but don't stress about it. Allow things to flow and ebb, and you just keep at it,
Right.
and love it. When you're not loving it, then see if there's any obstacles in the way, and if you can, remove those obstacles and then get back to it. But I just, yeah, being like a child is who I am. I can be very serious in the way that I
Right.
sound, but really, in my heart, I'm still a grown up
Oh,
little
that's
kid.
perfect. Yes. I like to say I'm immature and more immature than my own child, which is probably true in a lot of cases, but
Yes,
we
me too.
embarrass him everywhere we go, but we can't help it. But, he has a hard time. He's got a journey to find himself back there. He's years away from
Yeah,
it, and,
yeah.
and it's sad to see, when society comes in and takes away that
Mm,
free child that would create it or had, imaginations or dreams. And then all of a sudden you start falling in line and you start losing yourself. So it's like,
right.
you found your true self, and that's your 5-year-old child. That's that free person
Mm,
that didn't
hmm.
care, could dance in front of people without caring, I mean,
Yeah,
all that, which is
right,
that's a
right.
gift, and people can live their whole life never finding their way back. So
Yeah.
that's kind of cool with your paintings. You can kind of see that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, okay, so before we talk about your teaching, how would you sum up your career as an artist, I know this is kind of a broad question, but like, is there like your favorite part about being a career artist, or is it something that you like, don't like?
I love it. It's not always easy in terms of, trying relying on painting as an income.
Yes.
That can be challenging, but I think that one of the things that, we know as we learn through life is that the struggles and the suffering, they teach you more than the victories.
You're so right.
And you look at those struggles and say, okay, what did I learn from that? And where am I now after pushing through that? And I think that's, so I can't say that there's a moment where this was the moment of, this was the epitome of my career.
Right.
I think that, it's been a flow.
Right.
And I think it's one of those things that I'll look at and say, this was, I mean, for example, just talking about the critique from the teachers at the university.
Right.
I was young teaching and I was looking up to these guys and they were my mentors.
Right.
And they were criticizing me, saying, "What are you doing? What is this? What do you think you're, Salvador Dali over here?"
Oh,
And I just was like, "Why is this a big deal?" And it was discouraging, but a month or two later, I was at a show and it was successful. It
right.
was clarifying that it's not, other people's opinion or that moment
Wow.
doesn't define you.
That's so true.
Allow yourself to continue and remove the obstacle and continue.
Wow.
And I think that's really so the rough moments are good too.
That's true.
Even even if they don't immediately turn into a month later a sold out show.
Right.
Maybe it's 6 months, a year, 5 years of struggling, but you're still doing it.
Right.
The goal is to do it. It's not the validation. It's that you're expressing yourself
Right.
and that you're doing it authentically. That's the goal.
That's
The rest
beautiful.
is just icing on the cake.
Right. That's beautiful. Beautifully said. Well, I
Thanks.
mean, that's, when you are completely like knowing what you're about, you love what you get to do. I mean, you're an artist where people would love to experience your life in that way, meaning like that's the challenge, being finding authenticity can take a while. And then being comfortable in your own space and then being able to create. And you seem like you're kind of, especially, you wanting to help other people too as an artist. And as you get older, I mean, does that become more important to you because you're not in this competitive race or have you ever felt that as far as an artist?
I remember when I was graduating from my bachelor's, I had a teacher that said, "All right, now you're in the arena with me."
Oh,
And
interesting.
I was like, "Is that how it is?"
Yeah,
I said, I don't think that's how it is.
yeah, no,
Um, I think that's how you think it is.
right,
I was like, no, I mean, you giving things away and being generous is a gift to yourself.
exactly, yeah,
So
agree.
let's do it together. Let's change the world and make more artists in this world. It will be better because of it.
Yes,
Not We're not competing against each other. Let's
good,
let's inspire each other
yeah,
so that we can both be better.
right, yeah, the world
And
needs us.
I think that when I'm coaching, when I'm teaching, I learned so much about people, about experiences that just, honestly, they give back to me.
Oh,
When I
right,
see
yeah,
when I see someone that has overcome something, has you know healed themselves, and then been able to go on and do more art. I'm inspired by that.
oh,
I,
that's
I
beautiful.
find I find more purpose in it, and I think art is self-discovery.
Right,
And if you're using it for something else, you might be missing out.
right. Wow. That's beautifully said too, because it's true. It's all about you.
Yeah,
It's not about anybody else or anything else
right,
external. You're
right.
just expressing yourself. Huh. I love that.
Yeah, yeah.
So teaching wise and doing this, I mean, is like for listeners, can they reach out to you to be mentored or anything like that? Or is that something?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been
Oh,
doing more of that. I've been focusing more on creativity coaching
oh, cool.
and teaching lately. Yeah, and it's something that I think what I've found most of the time is just getting to the root cause where there's creative blocks.
Right,
Exploring different ways of thinking about their art and their creative practice. And once that starts to clear, there's so much that they can do, that they feel like, okay, I see I was making excuses, or there's this
right,
and that, and so it's really using the format of art to get to their personal growth, like internal growth.
wow. Yeah, so
And I
you're,
think
yeah,
that it's not just for painters. It really is for everybody. Anybody that does anything creatively, which is pretty
right.
much most people.
That's true. Yeah,
Um, yeah, but finding like what is it that's stopping you from this? It's probably some thought process, some pattern that you've developed over time, and that you think is true, but it's not.
ah,
It's a it's a pattern that you've learned in your life, and let's clear that. Let's find out, what can you do to clear that. How can you see things differently? So there's a lot of stuff with meditation and
right,
visualization, just creating healthy habits, as well as getting to the easel and doing the thing that you want to do.
right. So in your coaching, would you tell them to therapy, like to do art in a way that's not necessarily what they want to do, but maybe, is there any art therapy in this? Or, because a lot of times I have a hard time. I can't really create when I'm in a bad mood for my work. I,
Right,
I show in
right.
galleries, but a lot of times I just scribble,
Hmm.
just to kind of like, I could scribble a whole wall worth if I'm really stressed. But,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but I'm just wondering, like, is there any, tools of art that, that you'd recommend or that you do?
Oh, absolutely. I have, a plethora of things that are just like, I got one of those tool belts, those
Okay.
creative tool belts with all
Yes.
these different things.
Good.
So, and one of them that I use consistently is journaling,
Oh,
but
yeah.
for me, not with words, but journaling with drawing or painting.
Oh,
So
wow.
I just have a piece of paper and I'll start doodling, and I will get things out. And usually it has some relevance to what's going on, whether it's good or bad. It'll come
Right.
out there, and I could say, oh, that's a key time where this was happening. And I look at the hundreds of journal entries that I have,
Right.
and I can go, yeah, that was a rough moment, but and I could see the change, how it shifted. That's a
That's
great
incredible.
one, and
Yeah.
that's something that, like, it helps to do that consistently, trying to do it, pretty much every day,
Yeah, I can see
and
that.
not, but when you start to feel like it's a burden, then you got to shift.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So,
So you don't want to do things that are a burden.
right.
You feel like an
Huh.
obligation. You
Okay.
want to do things that are, so you can come back to that. There's a lot of things here, like mind mapping and things like that are really good. Writing
Okay.
down ideas, but
Right.
doing it in a creative way where, I have a whiteboard that I do some stuff sometimes where I have a thought and I'll link it to another thought and I'll find the connections where this brings clarity to me. This is extremely helpful. It's changed so many things in my life, like even things like physical ailments,
Okay.
where I'm like, why am my knees bother me? What does that have to do with? I don't have any injury.
Okay.
So what is this? And linking that to particular feelings, and feelings of maybe carrying too much weight. Am I carrying the weight of the world on me? Like,
Oh,
just things like,
yeah. Right.
you know, subconscious stuff. And once it gets out in the open, you're on your way. Like, now it's okay. Now this obstacle is here. I see it. That's the first step. Then
Right.
working on, all right, how do I create through this? I
Okay.
could I could draw or paint based on that. Like, okay,
Yeah.
what is the imagery correlated with, like, a physical pain, and how can I heal that? What's the process of healing that? What does that look like visually? Let me draw or paint that. And that process of me drawing or painting the healing helps me to see that all it takes is a change of mind to do that.
Oh, you're just shifting.
Yeah, so that shift is really is a you're a creator. We're creators. Like we create each moment every day.
Right.
All day long, we're creating new moments. Our most creative act is us,
Ah, yeah.
not the painting. The painting is a result of what we're doing internally, and
Ah,
that's as far as teaching and helping people. That's really what I want to help with um, is really getting to the core of what's going on here, and not that it's a psychological thing that you're thinking of more of as a spiritual thing.
okay. Yeah.
That there's a block, there's an energy that's there that's blocking you, and it's resonating because it wants to get your attention,
Right.
and it wants you to let it go. So
Mm,
the way to let it go is pay attention to it, see it, and then work on sort of, creating affirmations, paintings, drawings, um, visualization about the process of healing.
oh, I love that. Seriously, because I mean, a lot of artists I've worked with suffer from a pain and emotional
Yeah.
pain and physical pain, but just
Hmm.
to be able to transcend this, to take it and look towards it. And I always say, like, you want to walk towards the pain instead of away, because people spend their life running away
Right.
from pain. They just discomfort, forget it. So drugs, alcohol, you name it, could come in
Yeah.
just to
Yeah.
numb what's really happening. But for you to be saying that's the most important thing, to turn towards it
Oh,
and
totally.
and be curious to what it's telling you, and then to
It's
manifest. Were you saying kind of like your mantras to heal it, or to change the outcome of
Yeah,
it?
yeah, right. To
Yeah.
change your subconscious programming
Right.
about the thing.
Oh, I love
It's
that.
usually what it is like something subconscious that is blocked, and you're not e- you know most of the time when we're aware of something, we deal with it.
Right.
But it's like these like little lingering things that are like secrets. They're
Mm.
shadows, and doing like some shadow visualization work can help you to open up and put those into the light,
Right.
and those shadows become your friend.
Oh, ooh,
they're
I love
they're
that.
actually they're actually ways that the shadow is protecting you, is trying to you know protect you from something.
Right.
And so when you identify that this shadow of mine is actually not my enemy, gratitude gratitude is there for
Ooh.
this aspect of your mind that created a shadow, and then the shadow becomes, yeah, this there's no longer a problem, or the
Right.
problem is less now.
Right, because you know it, you intimately,
Right,
you're looking
right,
at it with clarity, like you said earlier. Yeah. Wow.
absolutely.
I love that. Jeez. Oh, I don't want this to end. Dang it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I could talk. I mean, we should do part one, two, three, and four or something. But maybe we can have you come
Yeah,
back. I mean, that would be great,
absolutely. Yeah,
some other
yeah.
time. But um, so I guess my last question is, what's next for you? I mean, you've described what you're doing now anyway, but like, what's next for you? Is there anything in your artwork that's changing, or any kind of thought of where you're heading as far as with your work?
Yeah, I mean, aside from the coaching, which I'm focusing now on more in the present day, in the
Yeah.
next few weeks and months, but next year I'll be heading to the Netherlands for an art trip.
Oh, cool.
I'll be out there painting and experiencing, you know, the Netherlands and Amsterdam, and just
Ah,
I've never been there. I want to soak it in, and then see how that in fact affects my work over the
right.
next few years. Did that with Paris
Oh, that's true.
and Florence, not Florence, but Venice
Venice.
recently,
Right.
and those two places, and then doing work that's inspired by the influence of that. So allowing,
Oh,
the the message of my paintings that flows through, but having the influence of that environment in there, intermixed in there.
oh, that's beautiful.
And
So
so
open
the
to what
Netherlands, yeah.
what will bring you, the inspiration, just being an open vessel, soaking it up.
Right, exactly,
Wow, I love that.
exactly.
That's incredible. Okay, well, I so appreciate you
Yeah.
connecting with us. Do you have like an Instagram handle that they can also follow you? Because I think your Instagram is amazing, you know?
Thanks. Yeah, it's at Joshua Smith Art is the Instagram.
Perfect. Yeah, and
And
we'll
and
put
that's
that on
that's the
there.
best way to get a hold of me. The
Okay.
my website's joshuasmithfineart.com. Instagram is easy because just send me a private message if you're interested in whether it's coaching or painting.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
So that's the way to reach you. Okay. And we'll have all the information on our podcast, posting because it goes on Apple and speaker and, iHeartRadio and all those,
Hmm.
so, and it'll
Great.
have the writing with all of your links on there. So if you can't remember from this podcast, it's going to be written down. So,
Hmm.
and then I look forward to, it'll take about a week to do the YouTube of this podcast, but I'm looking forward to just sharing your work as we talk because it's going to be amazing to
Yeah.
just see your work as we're speaking. I think that's really powerful. And
Thank you so much. I appreciate
yeah,
it.
thank you. Thank you again for showing up and we will definitely connect again.
Okay, sounds good. Take care, Stephanie.
Yeah, thank you. Well, that's it for our podcast today. And oh my goodness, I just love my life. To be able to connect with artists on this level and to share and honor their story to me is like, what an honor. It's such a great thing for us to be able to do for each other. And, this community that we're building is beautiful. It's incredible. And Joshua's story, and he is kind of the perfect grateful artist that is living his life, being authentic, and giving what he's learned in his life away, and affecting people in a positive way. And that's why we're on earth. That's why we're here. That's why we created this podcast. That's why I wrote my book. All of that. So to me, that's awesome. So if you are an artist or a creator and want to reach out to stephaniepagestudio.com, it's art@stephaniepagestudio is the email. And also you can reach out to me on Instagram at Page Studio. Share what you want, connect with me, whatever it is. And if you have a comment about our show, that's great. If you'd like to reach out to Joshua on Instagram, it's Joshua Smith Art. And also his website is joshuasmithfineart.com. View his work, reach out to him. I mean, he's amazing. He's really an incredible person. And we'll have this all posted on all of our platforms. So thank you so much. And also, if you're interested in buying The Grateful Artist, the book, it's available on Amazon. Or if you'd like to buy it directly from me, you can buy it through stephaniepagestudio.com, and I will hand sign the book. It's the same price either way. But I thank you for connecting with us, and I look forward to next time. Take care. I can't wait.